Welcome, everybody. This is Roger Pascal on with Impact TV. We talk about subject two. We talk about all things real estate. But we're with Impact Training, Impact Real Estate Training. So tonight I've got Tony Jardou on the call with us tonight, and he is coming to us from out of state. So he said he's locked in a basement. I don't know what that's about, but there you go. Things out there. So, Tony, how are you doing tonight?
Roger, I'm doing terrific. And this is not a COVID thing either. It's just that I'm in the basement. There's some other folks upstairs in the house, and this is a quiet area. And I'm out in Portland, Oregon right now.
Portland, Oregon. That's I've got lots of family up there, and I have on both sides, my mother's and father's side of the family, they all transferred out there for whatever reason, and now they're a beautiful area. Just a little bit lack of sunshine for me. I like the sunshine, but it is a beautiful area.
Yeah, sure is.
Good deal. Well, tonight we're gonna have a little. We're not gonna have as many people on tonight as far as presenters, because we have lots of people traveling, as Tony is traveling right now. So, or he's out of the area right now. But we have a lot of stuff coming on. Dennis is him and Norma went down to Cancun. We've got a large getaway that we're doing later in September. So they ran down there for the weekend to try to make sure everything is set up. We're going to have about 60 people going on the getaway this year. So we're really excited about that. It's a great turnout on that. So we're going to be, we're sold out on that, but we're looking at doing one in late winter, early spring again. But this thing sold out pretty darn quick as they go. So there we go. So Nancy's working tonight. I haven't heard from Pam. I haven't heard from, well, Doug and Renee are on tonight too. So, but I want to leave you on here for just a minute, Tony, while we kind of do the introduction, and then I'm going to go talk a little bit about subject two, and then we're going to come back to you. So that's kind of what the schedule is tonight. So, but first of all, we are with Real Impact. We have I feel the best training of any training organization in real estate there is, because we train all things. We train you how to build your business plan. We train you how to work with banks. We train you how to work with private money. We train you how to build your team, your investor, or your contractors, all the different contractors that you may have. We teach you how to go out and find properties. So we have what I feel is the best structure for a training type company there is. Our students are absolutely in phenomenal positions of what they've gone through. So we're excited about that. But I always try to open it up a little bit with giving a little subject that we may be talking about. So tonight I want to open it up with just we get a lot of questions on this. I got 3 or 4 questions this week on this, but how does the sub 2 process work? So I've got a little diagram here that we're going to throw up real quick. So you can see up here on the top left-hand corner, the first thing you have to have on a subject 2 is a motivated seller. So if we can find the motivated seller, that's how we get started. Now, how do you find the motivated seller? Sellers don't know what subject 2 is. They don't know how subject 2 works. They don't know the term subject 2. So when I talk to a seller, I say, I think we might be able to work this a little bit with creative financing. Are you open to that? Let me explain to you what we're going to do. So we find the motivated seller. We talk to them. The first thing you want to do is make it a priority in your life to go to that seller's property and meet the seller at the property. And that is probably one of the most important aspects of this whole subject 2 thing, because nothing happens unless you get a property. And you want to meet at the property. You want to make sure the property is in the condition that you're okay with. So when I get a call from a seller and they say, I understand from Joe, let's use Joe as an example. I understand from Joe that that you can help me out. I've got some challenges here. I've talked to a couple of realtors. It's really not going to work with that. I've got a time frame that they're not going to be able to hold into, or I don't want to be a landlord or all these other type situations. So the first thing I do is I get their address. I immediately do a Google search on the address. I kind of get an idea of where they're at. If I don't know the actual block in the street, I want to know where that's at. But while I'm on the phone with them, I'll ask them, can we go ahead and meet today? It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Are you good for meeting at 3:30? Are you good? Depending on where they're at. So I want to make that appointment. I want to get in that house. I want to talk to them as quickly as possible. Now, one thing on a subject too that people work up on a is they do analysis paralysis. And you can't do that with a subject too, because if they talk to you and you say, well, I can't really meet with you till tomorrow, or I can't meet with you till next week, they're going to find somebody else. And you're never going to get that property. So this is probably the one aspect of real estate that you've got to act very, very quickly with. And once again, if you don't, it's not going to be there. So what I do is I meet the seller at the property. I'm going to try to do whatever I can to find out what's going on in their life. I want to find their why. Why are they selling? So first thing I do is I ask them, can you take me through the house? And I work my own pattern, and I go clockwise. I like to go clockwise in the house, so I know I don't leave anything out. I don't want to dart back and forth from a bedroom to the kitchen, over to the dining room, back over to another bedroom, and back over to the master bath, and back over. So I don't want to jump around on that aspect. So I'm going to walk through the house. I'm going to have my notepad with me. I'm going to ask them open-ended questions. I want to ask them, why are they selling? What kind of time frame are they looking at? Are they willing to walk away from their equity of their house? And I'm going to word those in various different areas, and everybody is different. So I've never talked to two sellers that were the same, but I'm going to build that in I don't want to open that up and bring all these questions to them in the first room. I want to talk to them about their house. Have you had any major issues with it? Have you had any insurance claims that you might have been paid on that you didn't do the repair work with, or insurance claims that you didn't take action on? So those are some of the areas that I want to talk to them as I'm walking clockwise through the house. And if I see anything that looks like, oh, there's a problem there, there's a stain in the ceiling, I'm not going to make it a big deal. I'm not going to go, oh my God, there's a stain in the ceiling, you need to give me your house. No, we're not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my notepad. I'm going to look at that stain. I'm going to look down at the wall. I'm going to look on the floor. I'm going to look back up at that stain. And I've never had a seller not go, oh yeah, that's where we had a leak in the upstairs bathroom, or that's where we had a leak in the roof, but we had that repaired. And then I will say, did you have the roof replaced, or did you just have that area repaired? Was that an insurance claim? Did you do everything the insurance wanted you to do on that roof repair? So we're going to walk through that house. We're going to, if I see something in there that's going to make a connection to me, that is where I can start building a relationship. If I see something in there that I am involved in, for instance, our daughter went to Texas A&M. If I see something Texas A&M, I'm going to bring up, oh, our daughter went to A&M. What years did you go to A&M? And what did you study there? What did you, your kids and your son's in A&M, or your daughter's in A&M. Oh, my daughter went there too. If we're talking about fishing, I'm going to bring maybe some experience that I've had with fishing, if they were raised on a ranch, but something that correlates to me, that connects with me. I'm not going to make something up. I am not a football fan. I'll watch a football game. I'll enjoy watching it, but I don't follow the teams. I don't know who's winning in what area. I don't know who the major players are. If you ask me who the major players are in football, I'm gonna date myself and talk about Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman and those big guys out there. I don't even know who the quarterback is for the Cowboys at this point. So if we talk about football or baseball, I'll talk about my office used to be in the Ranger Stadium, in the old stadium. Had an office there, and we'll talk about that. So I want to make a connection with them on what they do. If they're into cars, I'm into cars. So I can give them, I can do the car talk with them. So we're going to build that relationship as I'm going through that house, as I'm making notes, as I'm trying to get information from them. I'm trying to find out their why. Why are they moving? Why are they wanting that out of the house? And then the beautiful part about a subject to is you can't buy them wrong. They're not going to be overpriced because the mortgage company put a mortgage on there with an appraisal. So it's always going to be underpriced. It's always going to be a deal depending on the repairs, but it's always going to be a deal, repairs and updates. So we're going to talk about getting this under contract before I leave. I carry a blank contract with me that I can fill out. It's just fill in the blank forms. I don't have to fill everything out because it is a subject to. I don't need a third-party finance agreement. I don't need to know, I can get my seller's disclosure later. I can get my lead-based disclosure later. People freak out when they feel they're going to have to fill out paperwork. In the sales contracts, 10 pages in Texas, and it's other lengths in other states. But I always use a state promulgated form, what the realtors use, because if anything ever happens and I have a question at the title company is already familiar with the contract. If I have a question, it has to go to an attorney because maybe it's a probate or something. The attorney's already familiar with that contract. So I don't go on to Google and I don't pull a contract up that is not state promulgated for the realtor board for that state. So we're going to immediately get it under contract. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back after it's under contract and I'm going to do the due diligence. I'm going to look at the property. I'm going to look at the neighborhood. I'm going to look at my notes on repairs and see what it needs. I'm going to follow up on any insurance claims that they may have had. So then I look at it and then once we perform our due diligence, we're going to go and say, is this a workable deal? Can we make this work? If the repairs are more than what I'm wanting the repairs to be, or what I'm comfortable putting into it, that's where I'm going to go back to the seller and I'm going to renegotiate that price. Don't think just because somebody's wanting to walk away from their equity, they're not willing to put money into the deal to get out of the house. That happens all the time. So what I'm looking for is I got to have this thing. I've got to make this thing work for me. So I'll go back and renegotiate the terms of the deal, renegotiate the deal if I need to. If not, I'm going to go ahead and get my contracts and get them over to my title company so they can start doing the title searches on it and they can start looking to see if there's any roadblocks that we have out there to keep it from closing. A good example of what's happening right now, and it's happening on a massive scale, are people getting solar panels put on their house. And they go, look, I'm going to save all this money. Well, that's, I'm not here to say whether or not solar panels are good or bad or anything indifferent, but I know what we run across as realtors. My wife and I are both retail realtors. She does the houses that smell good. I do the houses that smell bad. And I got a call 2 weeks ago from a past client, a past buyer. They were wanting to go and refinance their house to take advantage of the low interest rates that we're having right now. And he called me up and he says, oh my gosh, I put solar panels on the house and they've got a $40,000 lien on my house and I can't get it refinanced. And I'm like, there's no way to work around that. You can pay off the lien or you can keep the lien and not get it refinanced. And he was just livid because he says, well, they never told me that. And I'm like, well, I wasn't there and I don't know the documents that you signed, but obviously it's in the documents if they're able to put a lien on your house. We also run into it, or Linda Jean runs into it on houses that people are selling because it'll have solar panels on it. And those have to either be paid off or transferred where the buyer has to agree to take over the lease. But a lot of times what happens is on those solar panels is the buyers don't want solar panels or they don't want to take on an existing lease for the next 20 or 30 years on those solar panels. So be careful of any liens that are out there. Be careful of what is out there. If the house does have solar panels, that's another question. And during your due diligence or during your discovery period, is asking that seller, homeowner, tell me about the solar panels. What do you have? Well, I got these from Solar City or whatever solar company, Bob and Jake's solar company. And, ask them if they've got a lien on the house. Chances are they're not going to know, or I don't think so. I don't remember them putting a lien on the house. Well, they wouldn't have known that. They might have received a piece of mail somewhere or somehow, but probably never recognized it or knew what it was. But we're going to get that to the title company. We're going to have the title company do their due diligence, and then we're going to go ahead and get that property closed. So that's kind of the roadmap that I've got here up on the screen of how we do subject twos, or how we the mechanics of it. We're not talking about marketing for buyers. We're not talking about marketing for sellers. We're not talking about building your team on this. We're just talking about, this is a process, and this is a very simple process, but this is a process of what you go through to do the subject twos. So we're going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and take that off the screen. We got it off the screen. So that's what I try to open up with every week, is just something out there, a little tidbit of information that people are asking throughout the week or throughout the last few days or whatever, regarding subject twos and where those fall into place. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to throw something out in the comment sections, either YouTube or Facebook on here, and I'll work to get those built into the question aspect of it as we go on. But I want to go ahead and bring Tony back on, because we have lots of stuff going on. So September is going to be a very full month, Tony. We're gonna have a lot of irons in the fire in September, and we're excited about that. So, Tony, you are doing the Phoenix deal. You're bringing back from the ashes our Arlington meetings that we haven't been holding for over a year now. And that is your area. That is what you're working with. So tell us about what we have going on in Arlington, South Fort Worth, East Fort Worth, that area through there.
Yeah, sure will, Roger. And we're very excited. So it's not just myself, it's my wife, Cindy, and I. We will be opening up again, kind of like a grand reopening, Impact Arlington. So for folks who might be on the call, who might remember going to some meetings in Arlington years ago with Dennis Henson, it used to be called AREA, Arlington Real Estate Association. And I remember going to some of those meetings, and they were tremendous meetings. So we're reviving the whole AREA idea under the name Impact Arlington. September 16th, we will be holding our first meeting as Impact Arlington. So officially, we're the Impact Arlington Real Estate Investing Group. That's how you can find us on meetup.com. And the easiest way to find our group will be meetup.com/Impact Arlington. If you haven't already signed up as a member of Impact Arlington, please do that. And then go to the events tab and look for our September 16th event and RSVP. The event will be held at the Texas Gulf Center, which is located at 8940 Creek Run Road. And that is easily located off of I-30 and the East Chase Parkway exit. And it is just a short drive from that point. So you just go up to John T. White, hang a right. So you're going to head north on East Chase Parkway. You go up to John T. White. You'll know you're going in the right direction because there's a Lowe's on your right and a Walmart on the left. And you just take a right at John T. White, and it's just a short drive from there. Texas Gulf Center, we're going to start at 6:30 with a networking section, about a 30-minute section on for networking. Our meeting will start promptly at 7 p.m. This is September 16th. It is a Thursday. In fact, our schedule will be every third Thursday of the month, with the exception of special event in November. Roger, you might be talking a little bit more about that later on. We're going to talk on Thursday, September 16th. Our topic is, are there any good deals in this market? We hear from a lot of investors, not just in Texas, but other parts of the country, who are concerned that it's just too difficult to find good real estate deals. And adding to their anxiety is at least a perception that we have a really overcrowded investor marketplace. We're going to talk about that. We're going to kind of take a deep dive into that whole area. We're going to look at how to capitalize on current market conditions. We're going to discuss how to find motivated sellers, motivated sellers with opportunities that make sense. Roger just discussed just a few minutes ago with subject 2 is starting with finding a motivated seller. That's a great starting point for most investment strategies. We're also going to look at what are the skills needed, what are the traits needed in today's investment world in order to succeed. And we'll discuss how to invest with confidence. And this one's a real big issue, how to avoid a bad deal. Nothing kills an real estate investment career as quickly as coming right out of the gate and jumping into a bad deal. So we'll talk about that. And we'll also look at what's the current situation as of September 16th with the eviction moratorium and its potential impact to investors. So Roger, that's what we're going to do September 16th. I think we're going to have a great meeting. We haven't had an area or Impact Arlington meeting in the Arlington area, as you said, in over a year. Looking forward to revisiting with a lot of people who were part of the group and also visiting with people who are new to the group. Very good.
That's I'm excited. We're gonna make a big deal out of that September 16th meeting. So that is we're very excited about that. Dennis is going to be there. I'll be there. Tony and Cindy will be running the meeting. But if you want to drop by and say hi to Dennis, if you haven't seen him for a while, he'll be there. So we're excited about that, and this will be a great kickoff point. I know Texas Golf Center. I'm not a golfer, but I do know Texas Golf Center. I've got some friends that live out there in that area, in that neighborhood around that golf course. So it's a beautiful area. The golf center is a Class A facility, lots of wonderful parking. So you're not going to be hunting for a parking place like sometimes you have to do at a hotel or something like that. So that'll be a great place to do that. And finding the sellers, that's what I was talking about earlier, but absolutely that's a hallmark or the key point of this whole industry, this whole business. I have talked to so many people that talk about, I used to be in that. I used to do real estate investing, but I lost my shirt. Well, how did you lose your shirt, on doing that? So you didn't have the education. That's why you come to these meetings. That's why we exist, is getting those educations here.
Roger, you mind if I've been thinking about this over the past couple of weeks because I get a lot of questions. Like you get questions all the time about subject 2 because you're an expert in subject 2 and you shared with us just a few minutes ago. I get a bunch of questions from people who always hear that it's easy to do this, it's easy to do that. And one of the things that they hear about is particularly for those who might want to wholesale a property, because it's a pretty good way to start your investing career, particularly if you don't have a lot of money. If you can get a property under contract, you might be able to assign it and get a wholesale fee. Sounds simple enough. But the problem for a number of folks is I don't know who to sell it to. And so this is kind of like a tip of the week from me to anybody who's listening. How do you find those buyers? How do you get a big buyers list of names of people who might be interested in buying your deal? Let me tell you what we did earlier this year. We've actually sold, my wife Cindy and I, we sold 19 of our properties this year. And 4 of those we sold to people who became owner occupants. So they were moving into the property. The other 15 properties we sold to investors. How do you find these investors? Here's what's really interesting. All of these properties were in Waco, Texas. As I said, out of the 19, 4 were sold to people who moved into them in Waco. The other 15 properties, 14 of them were sold to investors who didn't live in Waco. San Antonio, Austin, New York, California, people who weren't investing, who lived in Waco, but they were investors outside. So how do you find these people? Tell you what we did. I told my wife, Cindy, go into Facebook groups outside of Waco, go into the groups in Austin, become members. It's easy to become a member of a Facebook group, particularly a real estate Facebook group. Go in, become members. So she went into Facebook groups, California, and what she did was she looked for those groups that had the biggest memberships, the real estate related Facebook groups with the biggest memberships, and she became a member. Sometimes you have to answer a couple of questions. That's easy enough. Sometimes they just accept you automatically. So she joined these groups in New York, Colorado, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, all big cities, Dallas, Fort Worth, of course, in different areas, California, if I didn't mention that one. And then I said, once you become a member of that group, then type in the search button, in the search bar, type in cash buyers. Because wholesalers are notorious for posting in those groups, where are my cash buyers at? And the reason they do that is they either have a deal or they want to start building their buyers list. And when they do post in there, where are my buyers at? Where are my cash buyers at? People respond with their email addresses. So they've told you they want to be a cash buyer. We then took that email address and their name and put them into our CRM. And we tagged them. We tagged them as an investor buyer. And then we also tagged them for the Facebook group that we found them in. So we can run filters and we can do a number of different things, because one of the aspects of real estate investing today that I think people need to become good at is data and how to use data, because our technology is fantastic. So when we were ready to start selling some of our properties, we would put together an email about the property. So property information, some pictures, and also a link to our website that contained that same information. But we also put in what the return to the investor would be by buying our property. So we put the specifics about the actual rental property. And all our properties, by the way, at the time had renters in them. So we were able to show clearly with information that was current to us, the revenue and the expenses, and what it would mean to the investor buyer from a return on investment standpoint. And we offered owner financing on top of all that. So it took, once my wife was a member of these groups, sometimes it took 24 hours, sometimes it took 48 hours. But once she became a member of the group, and she then took the information that I mentioned a few minutes ago about cash buyers, she plugged it all into our CRM. And one day she did this. In one day, she came up with 260 names. Just in one day. Imagine if you did it for 3 days. Imagine if you did it or hired somebody to do it and put it into your database. We then blasted out these properties to those people who were cash buyers. And the results were phenomenal. Like I mentioned, earlier this year, we sold 19 of these properties, 15 of them to investors. Only one investor from Waco actually bought one of the properties. Everybody else was from outside of Waco. So building a buyer's list, you might be able to buy a buyer's list, but you might be able to grow it organically by just thinking a little bit outside of how you normally think. Go to Facebook groups. You can always post, once you remember, to those Facebook groups as well. And we did that too. We also posted our deals in Facebook groups outside of Texas. And we had tremendous responses.
Wow.
So there's my tip for the week.
What a great idea. And it's like working that buyer's list is so much better than buying one online somewhere. It's the same thing as working with the client off of referral. You've already got that connection. You already know that that's going to be a real buyer that's really out there.
Yeah.
So that is the best tip I've heard in a long time, Tony. That is a great great tidbit that people need to realize and understand. Wherever I have rental properties, I belong to the little local real estate group, owner finance, and whatever county or town, those areas. So that does work. And I love that story. That's the first time I've ever heard that story, Tony. So that's great how you did that. I had no idea that you sold that many properties in Waco.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you are a Tarrant County and Arlington you're not a transplant. You're local here, and you just went down to Waco because you saw some opportunities down there. And we could call you the Lee Marvin of the real estate, born under a wandering star, because you're going to follow the business wherever that takes you. So. That's, by the way, that's paint your wagon. So if you're not familiar with that, but how cool is that? That is that's one of the best stories I've heard in a long time. What valuable information for people to use to find buyers and find sellers too, or if there's an area you want to go into. I've got a student that I'm working with right now that he's down here in Tarrant County and Fort Worth, but he is buying in Buffalo, New York, and he's closing on 6 properties this week up there in Buffalo. So we're excited about that. He's never done real estate before other than buying the house he lives in. We went through our training program, and his first deal, he's getting 6 properties, and all 6 of them are cash flowing properties. He doesn't have to worry about rehabs. He just goes right in, and he's already, and he's going to, out of those 6 properties, he's going to make over $20,000 a year in profit out of those 6 properties because he's buying them right. And he's making that work for him. So Tony, thank you so much for that. So we're, remember September the 16th, over at the Texas Golf Center, East Chase Parkway and I-30. If you're from the area, you know where that's at. That's easy to get to. Relatively little construction. You got a little bit of construction on 820, but that seems to be flowing pretty good until somebody messes up. But that's the way it is on any freeway. But that's a great area to be in, just right north of 30. We're excited that you're going to be there on the 16th. So we're excited to see you and Cindy come on board and making that happen, and this type of information, passing that on along to many, many, many other investors in the area. So thank you so much for coming on. And John Lyle says thank you for that information too on the chat area here, Tony. So thank you so much. Enjoy your time in Portland, Oregon, and look forward to seeing you when you get back. And then we're all going on that getaway towards the end of right after your meeting, just 4 or 5 days after your meeting. We're going to be going to Cancun to spend a little time. So, all right, good deal. Right. Tony, thank you so much. We're going to throw Doug and Renee on here real quick and see what's going on in East Texas. So,
hey guys.
Oh, howdy. All right.
Got my Vanna back.
So, how are y'all doing?
White.
Oh, goodness. We're good. Roger, how are you doing?
I am doing super. I mean, for those of y'all that don't know, I don't even know if you knew this or not, but I went Thursday, and Thursday morning brushing my teeth, I couldn't taste my toothpaste, so I went and got a COVID test, and I have COVID. So, but the only symptom I had was losing my taste and my smell, but it was unfortunate. It was only for about 10 hours. So that night at dinner, I was able to eat dinner, and I'm not losing any weight. I kind of got excited about it. Thought, well, maybe this will give me a chance to lose some weight. So, this is, so it's been a very, very mild case. I not even had a sniffle. I've not had any of the headaches that you read about that people have had. But I did quarantine myself. I went out to our place out in Tyler. I just rolled back today because today's day number 10 is what we traced it back to when I got it. but I didn't lose my. I didn't lose. I got it. It took me a week to lose my smell and my taste. So that's kind of interesting or kind of weird how that works. So, but other than that, I'm doing great. And got some social distancing there. So Lynn and Jean got a vacation for a few days. So that's kind of how that works. So what's going on in Longview, Texas?
Well, we're really excited. We've got our meeting coming up on September the 20th, which is a Tuesday night. And we're going to have Doug teaching on option contracts. And so if you don't know much about how that works, you need to join us at the Big Red Barn on Tuesday, the 20th of September. And we will hook you up with some good information there.
Calling it your last option. So when you get in there with a seller and you're asking for the sale, or if you've given them a couple of options and they're just not taking it and they say, no, I want to get exactly this much money. I say, okay, well, we can do that. And we'll just get it under contract for that much. And I go get it, for a certain number of months, however long I can get it. I've gotten them for 12 months before. So it's not impossible. A lot of like you said, a lot of the land people, they get them for years and years, and they just sell off a little bit at a time. But you just go find a buyer and make some money. And I'm hoping to we have a new student that got the skills, the 5 skills program that I'm going to teach him. No, it's John.
I know, but the Tim Lockhart.
Oh,
taught
yeah. So that Tim taught on.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to try to get this house under option, unless the lady will sell it for less, of course. But it's really, it's what you believe. If you believe you can do it, you can do it. If you believe you can do a sub 2, then you can do it. It's just like with the tax sales. I didn't jump in and buy my first tax sale before I learned how to do it, but I learned how to do it, and then I went and tried it, and it worked. With the sub 2, we learned how to do it, and went out and tried to find a sub 2, and we found one, and it worked. So, it really is what you believe. And a lot of what you believe has to do with how you think. We promote listening and reading books. And, you have to know your real estate business, but you also have to know you. And if you don't know you and you don't know what you're capable of, it's cutting off your chin, then you need to learn about that. And I'm reading a book right now. It's called The Road to Your Best Stuff by Mike Williams. And has very, very good information. Of course, every time you read something, you get something new. So we encourage our students to read and listen to positive messages.
Yeah, it's true. Y'all have probably heard a version of this from Henry Ford. It's Henry, but I've revamped it for Renee Toon, and it's if you think you can, you can. If you don't, you won't. So there you go.
Yep.
That is
so come hear us on options on the 20th, and we'll have a lot of fun.
Networking at 6:30. Meeting starts at 7.
Right.
Correct.
Options are powerful. Let me tell you, they are probably one of the most powerful aspects or tools that you can have in this business because they work on every kind of investing. They work with wholesaling. They work with subject twos. They work with traditional buys. They work with
everything.
Land, like you said. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, I've got a friend of mine that owns a real estate company, and he only does options with land. And then he's got the relationships with the big box stores, and he'll talk to Home Depot, or he'll talk to Walmart, or Bed Bath and Beyond, or whoever. That's the industry he's been in for 35, 40 years. And it is amazing sitting down with that gentleman and talking to him about some of the stuff he does 20 years from now is what he's looking at. And he's benefiting on stuff that he did 20 years ago that he's put some options out there. So that is going to be so exciting. I'm hoping I can get out there for that. That'll be fun, and always enjoy going to the Big Red Barn because it is a phenomenal place to have a real estate meeting. And the people that you have out there, oh my gosh, those people are just phenomenal on how they do the real estate and who's doing what and all that kind of stuff. So we're looking forward to that. We have a couple other meetings coming up. We'll not go into that in detail right now because I don't have the dates in front of me. I left that up on my desk upstairs in my messy office. So this is my clean office. But I want to make sure everybody knows that next weekend is Labor Day weekend. We will not be doing a Sunday night call on Labor Day weekend. But we will be back the week after that. And then I believe it's either 1 or 2 weeks after that. We're going to be in Cancun, 60 of us on the getaway. So we're very excited about that. So Doug and Renee, thank you so much for being on here tonight and making that happen. We normally will close out with Dennis Henson. But Dennis has made a discovery tour. Him and Norma went out today to where we're going to be meeting at in Cancun to make sure everything is lined up. Because like I said, we're going to have 60 of us out there. So there's a big project to make sure that everything is lined up so we can accommodate everybody out there and making sure everybody is treated like kings and queens when they come in out there. So we're excited about that. Very excited that for those of y'all that came on right now, and we have lots of comments here. Let me see what we have here. Hello, Tammy. Thank you for being on tonight, Melvina. She's thanking Tammy for the reminder, and that's Dr. Robinson. How? All right, cool deal. So. John Lau, regarding Tony's tip on how to find buyers, says thank you for that excellent tip. And somebody is asking who's going to be doing the maintenance in Buffalo. He has our student out there, our student here that's buying in Buffalo. He has a team out there, but I'm sure if you want to send a message and send us your email about who's doing the maintenance in Buffalo, I'm sure he would love to talk to you because he's trying to build up his list out there. So, and then we have here, John Lau says the 21st. So is that, I don't have my calendar up right now. Are we, Doug and Renee, are you doing, is it going to be the 20th or the 21st? And you're going to do it on a Tuesday night this time, right?
No, it's Monday, the third Monday of each month. Maybe I looked at the wrong day.
Okay.
Sorry. Let me check real quick. Doug's taking a quick look. I think it's going to
be Monday the 20th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's Monday the 20th. It's the third Monday. We usually always meet on the third Monday of each month, September 20th.
Well, John, I guess if you showed up Tuesday night on the 21st, Renee, or at least Doug's mother that lives on the property, they might cook you a meal. I don't know how that would work. So that might
be. You never know.
Never know.
So, JC, thank you for being on here tonight. And once again, John, thank you for being on here, and some others that are on here. So thank you so much for being on this call tonight. We're excited about it. We will take next week off. Remember, no call next week. But if you have any questions whatsoever, if you're looking what you're going to be doing on business or on your business, we have lots of different products. Real estate coaching is definitely not expensive for what you get in return. So you want to make sure you are coached and you're making sure that you do this right. I talked to a gentleman this week that's trying to do a subject to, and he really needs to get educated. He just really is lost on where he goes, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just want to make sure you have the right information before you jump into it, and you wind up getting over your head and not knowing, not having the support group out there to help you. And that's what we do. Is we're your local investors. We work with you on a local level, and we work with you to make sure all that happens. And other than that, thank you so much for being on here. Dennis tried to get on, but I don't think he had a good internet. I think he's actually probably at the airport right now, in Mexico. He left this mid-afternoon today, so I think he's probably traveling. But thank you all for being on here tonight. And Melvina, yes, Miss Robinson, where do we find you where do you find us on September the 16th? It's off of 30 and East Chase Parkway. But if you go to meetup.com and you go into the meetup.com / I don't know if it's Impact. Yeah, Impact Arlington. Meetup.com. There it is, right there on the screen. Thank you, CJ, for having my back on that. So go to Impact Arlington, and that will tell you. But it's East Chase Parkway and I-30. It's the Texas Golf Center, which is a golf course over there, a golfing center, a golfing area, just right north of I-30. So you're going to go past Walmart and Sam's, and you're going to go up there by where Lowe's is, and you're going to turn kind of behind the Lowe's there on John T. White. But we look forward to seeing you out there. Hopefully you can drag Tammy along if she can make it. We'd love to see Tammy come on there too. So thank you so much. September the 16th. We will see you there. And then September the 20th in Longview, Texas. We'll see you there. We also have a meeting coming up in Decatur. So look for that. Impact, you can go on to any of the meetup sites, and you can go on to Meetup and type up Impact, and it will give you all of our locations. Or you can go on to our website. And I'm blank on our website. So you can go on our website. Let's see if I got it written down. I don't have it written down here. Doggone it. I don't want to give you the wrong site. But we can definitely get you into that. I will tell you what that website is just a second here. And it is realimpacttraining.com. So go to realimpacttraining.com, and you can go into our we have 3 separate areas there that you can go on to. We have an area that you can learn more about our training. We have an area that you can learn more about our franchises. And if you are a student, we have an area there you can click to go directly into where the students are, the student area to the education end of it that you have to log into for that. So, and the email we have here is Impact Longview. If you're going to Longview out there, you can go to Impact Longview, and they will put you on a mail out there. Impact Longview at gmail.com. So, that'll get you on that basis there too. And then, we look forward to seeing you. So good night. We're wrapping this thing up. So thank you so much. I'm rambling on now. So thank you so much for being on here tonight, and y'all have a great week. Let us know, any of us know, if you've got any questions, and we can definitely get answers for your questions and make sure that you're not out there trying to do this thing on your own. All right, good deal. Look forward to seeing everybody week after next. No meeting next Sunday. So week after next for the next Sunday call. Thank you so much. Good night. Have a pleasant tomorrow.